Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. I was doing a bit more sort of testing. Not so much actual, implementation of the testing, but more of just a let's look at this and see kind of how the math works out. And as you can see here, when it comes to our small craft, if we use two engines that are half the power of the next generation engine that I was originally planning to use, which is a 105.6 engine power, I can significantly improve the fuel efficiency and not have an actual decrease in speed at all. As you can see here with the fighter, the F4B, which is our 12 centimeter design, which is realistically the one we would probably implement whenever we get around to actually, implementing a redesigned fighter. Has a max speed of 13,210 kilometers a second with a max range of 3.9 billion kilometers, resulting in 3 days of fuel at full power. 1 second, trying to get my timer up. There we go. And then we have the F4B copy, because I haven't bothered renaming it at all. This one uses two 52.8 engine power engines, resulting in a significant increase in fuel efficiency, up to 10.2 billion kilometers range, and 8 days at full power. And that is with basically half the total fuel capacity. We go from 102,000 liters of fuel to 47,000 liters. And we still have the same speed of 13,210 kilometers a second. Partly because I'm able to use less fuel storage. Now, I could take more fuel off because I don't really need 8 days at full power, for being completely honest here. The main issue is I don't really have a use for that extra capacity that would be saved. And it doesn't come out to a nice even number when I remove the fuel tanks anyway. So I'd rather have a nice even number that's easy to work with when it comes to multiplication, so that I can more easily determine how many I need, or theoretically that I can fit on something. So something like 300, 400, or 500 tons is sort of my go-to and what I would like to get. But yeah, we can't quite get this any smaller than this and have a nice even round number to multiply with. This is the same story when it comes down to our strike fighters, although I haven't actually designed one. I could have sworn I did, but evidently I did not. But it is a similar story. But one thing I'm trying to determine with the strike fighters is if we want to go up to size 6 box launchers. The reason that I'm considering that is for the simple reason that, in my view, there's no real difference in the enemy's detection capability, more than likely, between a size 4 and a size 6. If we're being completely honest, there is more than likely no perceivable difference in the detection capability. At least not noticeably so. I mean, again, if we go ahead and take a look at our thing, it literally says range versus size 6 missile or smaller, 1.8 million kilometers. So realistically, there's not much of a reason to bother designing missiles smaller than size 6 besides capacity, I guess. And the main thing is that if I pull over here, here's our AIM 64 is where we would call it. I can significantly increase the payload because we can increase the warhead strength up to 20. Have a missile that is 108,800 kilometers a second fast and a 5.2 million kilometer range. Well, 5.16 whatever. 5.2 million is just a nice easy thing to round up to for a 700 ton or smaller object. If we switch over to the AIM-43B, which would have been the next generation, again, the range doesn't actually change. The main thing is that it is much easier. I'm sort of stuck with the size 20 or with the 10 warhead strength, because if I try to go to 20, our speed drops pretty significantly. It's still more than fast enough, realistically, for anything we would fight. But it does cut the range as well, because I sort of have this designed as a 3 million kilometer range. But with the 6, again, we can keep the speed, we can increase the damage, and increase the range at the same time. So I'm kind of inclined to go for this, to be honest. But I haven't made that final call yet. And again, if we were to take a look at this and just sort of see what would happen if I were to use these. Do we need that much fuel? Not really. Oh, I think I did design one, but the issue was that I couldn't quite get the fuel to a value that worked. Yes, I think that was the issue, is that I could not get decent fuel storage and get back down to 400 tons. So I think I actually did design one. It's just, yeah. I mean, I could do it if I go down to 4 launchers, which I guess would be fine, instead of 5. Yeah, I suppose that'd be fine, realistically. Yeah, we might do that. It is the same speed as the other B. How high can I go with this before we actually need to go over 400 tons? 0.7, which is 21 days of deployment time. You're never going to meet that. You are absolutely never going to hit that. But you know what? I'll take it because it gives you a little bit of extra when it comes to your missiles. Not that you're going to be realistically doing maintenance on your missiles while flying around in space. But yeah, so spent about 7 minutes talking about that. But yeah, that's the... I am considering doing that. It also are observers, which we haven't really used in a while. We're able to get those actually down to like 300 tons. So that's a pretty decent improvement because I got like 4 of them. Yeah, like 3 or 4 of them right now on our carrier. And if I could decrease the size to the point where I could fit 1 extra fighter, that'd be kind of nice. Well, let's go in and continue. We got some more stuff we still need to research before we have stuff finalized and ready to avenge our diplomatic ship that got lost in GL Virginis. Just need to research a couple more techs to get our beam fire controls up and our tracking speed so that we can slightly decrease the size of the turrets a bit more. We're probably going to use armor of 3 on our turrets, just so that they have a bit of something. They're not so easy to destroy. Okay, now, who are you guys? I'm going to assume that's the Alpha Centauri mineral group. Is that correct? Yes. Enjoy cycle moves. Technically, you are currently still carrying cargo because the way your system works. But it's only 47 iridium, so we'll leave it be. It's not going to prevent you from finishing your run. But yeah, so we are going to have to see how that all goes. Okay, there we go. Game kind of seemed to get stuck there for a second. I mean, I realize there's a lot of civilian traffic, like just tons of civilian traffic. Okay, there's our beam fire control for 120,000 kilometers, which is really not quite as far as you'd think it is. Because what is our lasers doing right now? No, game. Lasers, thank you. Our current lasers are 360. So to get you to 360, I need to do at least a 3 times size. Question is, do I just say screw it and go for the 4 so that the calculations for any ECM are based off of 480,000 as opposed to the 360,000. Thus, maybe we can still fire on enemies at 360,000. I'm inclined to say yes. I think I am because it's only an extra 25 tons, and the reality is, I don't think it makes a difference. Main thing I'm holding out for right now is that next level of fire control. And then I think the very last thing I want before we actually go ahead with designing the next generation, or not the next generation, but implementing our anti-missile ships into the fleet, is going to be getting that turret tracking speed, which is another year out. We're going to go ahead and dump a bunch of points into Tricobalt Warhead. That'll help us as well when it comes to our missiles. Make them even smaller. Or, well, more accurately, it's easier to have larger warheads on them. So those size 20, those warhead strength 20 size 6 missiles that are theoretical right now, we could do even easier. But again, that's not something we're immediately jumping out to do. Okay, size SETI finished theirs now. Size SETI. Order template, size SETI run, cycle moves. Slipways added to Walmer, which is fine, and Yuang, which is gonna need at least one more. I want to have 4 of our frigates, bare minimum. Let's see. The main thing is I'm kind of curious if we're going to have the minerals to be able to build all this stuff at once. And found some more enemies. Well, raiders, but, you know, still more enemies. Send quick reaction force 1 out. I assume that they can probably take care of this without any real issues. Initial engagement range 2 million, because it's a nice, easy, close enough to get a peek at the entire fleet without any issues. Refuel, resupply, load ordnance, because you do not have all of your ammo. Okay, do 1 day, because there are ways out there. Go. Do an hour. Because I think 3 hours might be just a little too close, or a little too quick of closing for my liking. Okay, Charug detected. They've picked us up. Tekka and Yayik. Is that it? Just the one Tekka and Yayik? Because if so, you guys aren't going to be having a great experience. Close to 200. Don't use the missiles, because we don't need them. Why do you have an unassigned weapon? Seriously, why do you have an unassigned weapon? There's absolutely zero reason for you to have unassigned weapons. Okay, they have been informed to engage. Apparently we got some updated intel on the Tekka. Oh yes, I think because I accidentally cleared the Tekka. Was that the one I accidentally cleared? Yes, I believe it is. Because we're not listing weapons. So we are needing to re-add all of our information that we know about the Tekka. Which is certainly not accurate information right now because it's escorting a Charug. 5 seconds. Go down. Readjust targets. Engage. Yayik down. Get the Charug. Oops, Cyan Fleet. Finish that one off. Of course, the Charug takes forever to kill. Because it is so big at 57,000 tons that it has quite a bit of armor we need to punch through. Although, does it really have that much armor? Because we pull up our troop transports are literally double their size. And we have an armor rating of 3 on the current iteration. I mean, sure, all of our older ones were 1. But nonetheless, that is a lot of armor on these things. And I would absolutely love to increase your speed. So we will definitely be needing to redesign some brand new... What is the name of the tech? Solid core antimatter commercial drives. Actually, no. Is that commercial drives? Yes, I believe you guys are commercial, correct? Right now? Yes. Even though I have you using the military naming convention, you are technically civilian vessels. Or, well, commercial vessels. Okay. Ceasefire. You can turn off your actives. Head back to Earth, refuel, resupply. And job done. Salvagers, where are you? Are you busy somewhere else? No, you're not. Okay. Couldn't recall, because I know I did send you guys out, but I couldn't recall if I'd brought them back or not. Couple more techs to finish up. Again, we have to wait at least a year till May, unless something happens and we can speed up that tech further. But at least for now, we're going to be stuck waiting until May. But that's definitely not true. Because we have Ten Yun Cheng here, who is really good. We'll speed that up to April. Fair bit sooner. We're building labs right now, correct? Yes. And I have 93,000 maintenance supplies available. We're going to need a lot more. Unable to load automated mines, because I don't think we have any more automated mines. That's the... Yes, that's the issue, is that we have none. Edit supply 0. Now you'll stop complaining about not being able to load automated mines because, of course, they don't exist. And some of you are still assigned to do it, and until you realize you can't do it, you're going to keep trying. But you should stop after a couple of attempts. Yes, we're down to 4 still assigned to attempt to load automated mines. Salvage fleet is back. Unload ship components and minerals. And what do we got? We got commercial ion drives. Scrap them. ECM1, scrap. EM sensors, thermal sensors. Crappy old magnetic mirror fusion reactors. Get whatever little minerals we can out of them. Because got nothing better to do. Oh, somebody got promoted to captain of the Astoria. You know, I'm pretty sure we have a lot of people just kind of sitting at a desk within the Navy, because the Navy hasn't really grown much, all things considered. Oh, yes, unrest is rising on Epsilon Indy. We will take care of that. I need... Okay, somebody else. Is that the last person attempting? Yes, looks like it is. Wonderful. Okay. We look to have actually finished this. Let's try to get the army redesigned, although I think I screwed some stuff up. Like I think I'm missing an artillery an artillery battery. I have an extra tank battalion and motorized rifle battalion. Not sure why. Have an extra anti-tank battalion. You are technically over. But we will ignore that for now. I am missing an anti-tank. Yes, I am definitely missing some stuff. But again, you're technically over right now. I don't think that's the right setup. I don't think that's technically right, because that would indicate you are supposed to support them. But that's the way I would read it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way the game is programmed. But you guys can technically have the mortar batteries under you. Let's put the mortars under the motorized and the artillery under the mechanized. You are still well under. I just need to figure out. So I'd rather have basically the same template under each regimental command, but the regimental command technically needs to get a bit larger because it doesn't actually have the capacity necessary. Also, I'd like to have had extra brigade commands that I don't need because I can technically fit 2 regimentals minimum underneath a brigade. Put the supplies at the brigade level. Why do you guys have a difference in number of troops? Are you a reinforcement? No. Why the hell are you guys a different size? Why does this one have an extra? That makes 0 sense. Ah. Well, part of the reason would be that this tank battalion is not a combat one. They're also an old one. Where the hell are you? Where did the game put you? Oh, there you are. Let's go ahead and scrap that formation. Now you guys should be the same size, right? No, still not the same size. Is your motorized? This motorized is a... God, how did I manage to screw that up so badly? Why do you have 2 motorized? I literally told you to remove this one game. What the hell are you doing? Okay, you're just refusing to remove this one for some reason. I have 0 clues to why that is. So let's just get rid of it entirely, and then you can't fail to get rid of it. There we go. Now you guys are the same size, but again, technically a bit big. Whoops, not clear hierarchy. Field position. You are rear echelon. Rear echelon. Rear echelon. It's fine. The tanks aren't necessarily meant for defense. They're more so going to be used as our breakthrough, I think, alongside the mechanized. Technically, you can't actually have the artillery without getting the penalty for having too large, but that's fine. We will ignore it. I can fix this stuff later. The reality is, I don't think the penalty is significant enough for me to give a crap. So, still have, yeah, so I have an extra brigade command that I don't need. And so what am I missing? I need an artillery, battery, to go with your mechanized. I need an air defense platoon and an anti-tank platoon. I need one more regimental command. Means I'm going to need 2 air defense, 2 anti-tanks, 2 artilleries, 1 engineer, a mechanized mortar motorized, and a tank battalion. That should then be the final command structure for this army. I'll then try to have to remember to, unless I build a second one immediately, I'm going to have to try to remember that this is the layout. Also, going to go ahead and get ourselves garrisons. Where are you? There you are. What do you guys look like again? 1 division and 3 regiments. So that we can ship those out to, Epsilon Indy. Or, well, actually, I don't necessarily need to wait to ship those out to Epsilon Indy. I can take the ones off of Earth and ship them out there. Obviously, I have not actually updated the template for the garrisons. You can role play that if you want. It's mostly just a case of I forgot is really the best way to describe it in all honesty. Let's go ahead and get this corrected. So go ahead and load up the 1st Garrison Division, fly out to Epsilon Indy, unload all units from Transport Bay, fly back to Seoul, refuel, resupply. 80.2 billion kilometers. You guys got the fuel for that, right? Because if not, gonna have a bit of a problem. Oof. You guys might be cutting it a bit close when it comes to actually getting back to Earth. Oh, well, no, that's all orders distance. Never mind, I forgot. So, yes, you should be capable. Why do you have armor damage? How the hell do oh, you got, okay, no, never mind. I know why you got armor damage. We can fix that when you come back. It's not that big of a deal. You'd have armor damage because, yeah, kind of, sort of lost. Can't forget the Pi Libre where we got shot at. Though, did we have these versions? I thought we had the previous ones that didn't have the armor, but I might be misremembering. And I would have expected your armor to have been fixed when the refit happened if we had the old versions. But again, I could be misremembering as to what we had. Okay, that gets us the fire speed, so let's go ahead and, I think, design the brand new beam fire control. we're going to say screw it and go for the ×4. Now, one thing I'll admit, when it comes to designing a beam fire control largely intended for point defense, I don't know if actually kicking up the tracking speed matters significantly. Like, I really don't know if it would actually make a difference. And I guess we can check that real quick. So we can design 2 copies of this. Well, let's actually delete these. Well, no, screw it, it's fine. We would basically want to put 20 lasers on. Or excuse me, it'd be like 30 lasers actually to get the same rough size. Because I'm planning to use, and that's not even strictly accurate apparently. Let's see. Yes, so tracking speed is going to be limited by the max range, or excuse me, by the beam fire control. However, it's obviously also limited because if you're not in the turret, you don't get the tracking speed benefits. So I want you to at least be able to track the current missiles that we know are being shot at us, which are 33,000. And again, we're going to go with 3 armor. So that gets us to a 798-ton weight. Right now. But that's not taking into account the turret tracking speed. Or is that what we researched? I don't recall. No, it was the fire speed. So we currently have a turret tracking speed that matches our fire control speed, which allows us to get a maximum tracking speed of 33,000 at 798 tons. We compare that to these, which are 800 and some odd tons per turret. That should be noted. I'll be able to maybe slap an extra 1 or 2 turrets on with this. Assuming that I can get the power plant capacity, of course. That's going to be the other issue. Or we can go up to triple turrets. The question is, I'm pretty sure what I've seen is generally twin turrets tend to work best when it comes to point defense. Also, again, it's you run into a situation of how many eggs do you put in one basket? The larger or the more guns per turret, the less turrets you have in total. But if you go with smaller turrets, you could theoretically have more turrets. And turrets are, I believe, knocked out as a whole. If basically technically only one gun is damaged in a turret, that turret is treated as if the whole thing has been disabled, because the guns are not actually tracked independently. It is literally one weapon. So it's a question of which one works better, and to be completely honest, I'm kind of inclined to just stick with 2. I think that's fine. Twin turrets work. If I was looking for a very large turret, like to have just one massive turret that had a big gun in it, then I might go with a single quad somewhere on a design. But I don't plan to do that with this campaign. Again, I might do a future campaign where we decide to go with a big guns naval doctrine instead of a sort of modern naval doctrine of carriers and missiles. And so, I might have a use in that instance for a quad turret that just fires an absolutely stupidly powerful weapon system, but has a very long recharge rate. Because it would have to have a very long recharge rate for that type of weapon. But I think we're going to go ahead and wait because we are getting that tracking speed in January. It's not that far away. So yeah, we're gonna wait before we actually implement this. But yeah, we're gonna. But I need to at least actually get this designed. So we get up a little bit more at 25,000. We might just tell the turret to max out at 25 because we can't get to... Yeah, we can't get to 33 anyway. So I might as well save a little bit of weight on the gearing for the turret and cap it at 25. But I guess it depends on which is more expensive for redesigning and refitting. Beam fire controls or turrets. And I think it's actually about the same, realistically. This is a 1,000 research point development, and this is a 17. And if I were to go to a 33 right now, it would go up a little bit more, up to 1053. So yeah, the beam fire control is the thing that's most expensive. Still trying to figure this. Do I want to do it? If I tell you to do 25, what do I go down to? 738, as opposed to 798. It's 50 tons, which I don't think will affect the number of turrets significantly. And again, assuming I can even get the power capacity, it may not be possible to get the power capacity with the extra turrets that I'd be able to fit, with these being smaller compared to the 15s that I used for the testing. Or the 15, 20 centimeters that I used for the testing. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and design the beam fire control now. Screw it. We're not researching the next level right now. And it's not that expensive. If I wait, if I were to just wait and get the next level of the tracking speed, that would get me up to 32, and it's only 60,000, and I can research that relatively quickly with Kang there. But do we want to delay avenging our diplomatic ship even further? Because I need to research this, then I need to design the fire control and research that, and then, design the... Well, implement it. Technically, I could design the turrets now if I wanted to. Again, we'll do the turrets after we get this. Yep. See, that's the thing. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna hold off and get the fire control speed rating improvement. So, yeah. We're gonna be delaying getting revenge for the diplomatic ship. But this ensures that we'll be able... Well, not ensures, but this significantly increases the chance that we will be able to... but you see, the thing is, the plan is that the missiles should generally intercept most of the enemies. missiles that they fire at us. And that the beam fire controls are just to sort of try to, thin the herd a little bit more when they get into sort of the medium range, which is, that 360-ish thousand kilometers. Why are you guys low on fuel? Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure I told you guys to refuel. God damn it, game. Come on. Pretty sure I told you guys. Okay, you guys haven't told to refuel. You're trying to make your way. You have like just barely enough fuel to make it to Earth, right? You got 4.1 billion kilometers left to go. Do you have the fuel for this? I would think you do, but I actually don't know. I didn't realize you guys would get so freaking low, and I could have sworn I was telling you to refuel every time. And game, why'd you freeze up? There we go. God damn. Game really froze up there for some reason. Hopefully you guys got enough fuel. I mean, I think you do. Again, you're going to be cutting it close, but you should have enough. Yep, okay, they made it. They refueled and resupplied. Wonderful. And they were cutting it a bit close there. But the good news is they made it. And that's the most important thing. Ooh, 25,000 research points for one of our scientists. I don't know why you decided to pause on this one game. Is it because the Mechanized Rifle Battalion? Personally, I don't feel like that warrants a pause, but you do you, I guess. Also, out of curiosity, where is our... Really wish there was like a... okay, so Expeditionary Strike Group 1 is there. Okay. Why do I have the third tug group here? Oh, did I forget to tell you guys to come back home? I think I forgot to tell you guys to come back home. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, come back home. You you don't need to be there anymore. Okay, game. Yep. I don't know how I managed to screw that up. Completely forgetting to tell them to come home. Oh, I didn't realize you could military restricted jump points. Really? Never knew that. How do you do that? Because, I sure as hell don't see a way to do that. And you're definitely way too far away to be a part of Soul Sector, so you're going to have to be your own sector. Not that you're going to complain about that at all, of course. Yeah, game is pausing for the army units being created. Which, personally, I don't care for. Okay, now, Goss. What is the cost to get... Okay, yeah, no, we're not going to be researching rate of fire 6. That would delay way too long for my liking. Sorry about that, game. Put a couple of extra labs into the turret tracking speed to speed that along. Do I have anyone better to fill this job? Yes, Vladik. Well, actually, I don't know. Vladik, you would do 27,000 a year compared to Anasuya's current 24. So you're an extra 3,000. I'm sorry, Anasuya, but Vladik is taking over for you. I got the labs anyway, so might as well. Also, I need to go ahead and actually tell these guys to research the lasers, because we can't actually send out a ship using turrets that have been researched, but that the guns that actually go in those turrets have not been researched. So let's go ahead and research the lasers, because those aren't changing. At least, not anytime soon. And let's get Kang at least started on the fire control speed. Although I'm thinking we may actually not wait. We'll see. It depends upon how things go. Also, I should check to see how many free naval officers we have just lying around twiddling their thumbs, because I'm sure we have a ton. Okay, lasers are done. Okay. It's looking like you're about a year at most. Sort of in total, I guess. Because at 17 labs, you're looking at November, which is actually pretty good. Once I get you the last, what is it, like 16 labs? No. God, no, definitely not 16 labs. Don't know why I was thinking 16 labs. But whatever, once I get you the last couple of labs you need, that should speed you up quite a bit, and probably will finish around mid-year, I'd guess. More scientists, another naval officer, there's our turret tracking speed. Yeah, there we go. We're looking at April of not this year, of course, actually next year. But that's still pretty quick, all things considered. Maximum mining. Owen, with 14 labs, does 13,000. Compared to Kamari's 10,000. Sorry, Kamari? Owen is taking over for you. Actually, Owen, you are well, 2 labs, but you lose 5% bonus. No, I think Owen is probably still better. So, get back in there, Owen. I know I'm confusing you, constantly telling you, no, never mind, you're not doing that. So it's not that expensive to go ahead and continue our research further again. We could go and research more turret tracking speed just so that we have it. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to hold off and say that now we are researching these. So I'm going to go ahead and kick you to 33. 3 of those. And there we go. We go from 798 tons, I think it was, down to 743. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's a fair bit. Although, if I recall correctly, I think the math worked out that we only got to 32, technically speaking, for tracking speed once we get the 8,000 kilometers a second. But, meh, don't really care. Let's see. So I'll be completely honest. The reality is we might want to consider eventually working in shields into our ships, particularly the larger ships. We just haven't, because our naval doctrine relies on a don't get shot in the first place. But theoretically, shields might be helpful for the you're going to get shot no matter what, so you might as well at least be able to tank it a little bit better. So we might want to research that. But I don't care to do it right this second, to be honest, because I really don't think we're going to use it. Let's go ahead and get the turret tracking speed further improved. No, excuse me. Sorry, I know I just told you to do that, but change of plans. Never mind. Yeah, let's go ahead and actually get the turret done. So the turret is going to be from Van Vliet Villa Flor. God, no. If I can't pronounce the name, we're not doing it. Marquez Ordnance. Yes, please. The Market Ordnance Twin Tajida Heredia Advanced Defense Systems 15 centimeter C6 soft X-ray laser turret. God, these names are a mouthful, and I don't have a good way of making you... Well, that's not true. That is not true. Could just go ahead and name you a 150 millimeter laser turret. But no. Nope, not doing that. We're not going to bother in prototyping this. We're doing it as is. So, Tianyun Cheng, go ahead and do that. Of course, because I didn't prototype it, it doesn't show up in there at all until we finish research. But that won't take very long. And then we need to figure out how many we want to put on. And how many reactors we're going to need. Okay, there's jump point stabilization 120 as well. Oh yes, also, new Gauss. Wrong one. New Gauss cannons. Now there's no real difference between the launch velocities. It makes zero difference to the size. Makes zero difference to damage output, because that literally never changes at all. So the question is, what size Gauss cannons do we use? And of course, this affects things like accuracy, but it makes them a lot smaller. Using a full-size 6HS, 100% accurate, or excuse me, 100% base accuracy Gauss cannon is 300 tons. I see a lot of people recommending either 5 HS or 1.5. Now, because of my tests, and I don't expect this to have changed in any real meaningful way between when those tests were done and now when it comes to in-game years, because it's only been like a year in game actually, I think, maybe 2. So yes. The Goss are just a final defensive line at the end of the day. They are the, oh shit, we still didn't deal with all the missiles. But the plan is that our anti-missile missiles will deal with like 90% of the missiles, and the other 10% should generally be dealt with by the lasers, and the like 1 or 2 that manage to slip by will be able to be dealt with by just the massive amount of fire that's going to come out of these Gauss cannons, especially when I use size 1.5 HS with 25% accuracy. They're not super accurate, but they're not supposed to be. They're literally meant to be flak, is basically how I envision them, is that they're literally meant to be flak. So let's go ahead and get some new companies. Garibaldi Ordnance. Now, I don't know if it really matters when it comes to Gauss being used in a PD capacity, which is about the only real use for it because it's just far too short a range. If the launch velocity really matters at all. Because I believe final defensive fire mode, period, only fires at 10,000. So, well, to be more accurate, it fires at the last second, basically. So right before, so basically on the turn in which the missiles are supposed to impact you is the turn it's supposed to fire. And that's mostly just because of the speed missiles are. If the missile is slow enough, or you're fast enough that you can keep it at a slight distance without it being able to actually hit you, I guess extra launch velocity might actually matter for point defense. Maybe. But because there is zero difference in terms of cost, in terms of just materials, size, crew, development cost, there is zero difference. I'm just going to go with the 30,000. And if somehow it ends up actually helping us, great. If it doesn't, then I wasn't really expecting it to. But there was literally no downside. So why not? So let's go ahead and create this as well, because we're going to need to research that. And that will not take very long either, of course. Now, again, we could go and research 40,000. Yeah, I mean, it says, speed at which the Gauss round leaves the cannon, a higher velocity provides better accuracy at long range. So I guess maybe it's helpful, but again, realistically, probably not. The way the missiles travel, the missiles we're shooting down are 33,000. And so they're never going to necessarily be just within range. So yeah, it does not matter for us at the end of the day. So we're gonna, but it's so damn cheap. I could literally go and you know what? Sorry, Garibaldi, but I think you've lost the contract. Screw it. It is such a quick research. We'll do it. It'll happen next time. Then we'll design the Gauss. And the turrets to go with them. And we'll basically be finalizing the designs except for the fire control rating, or the fire speed rating. Yeah, the fire control speed rating. God, I cannot talk. Let's go ahead and I think further improve our maintenance production. Assign any new labs that get produced to that one. And that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time, where, like I said, we will be finalizing our designs, I think. Unless something, a big invasion happens again from the Raiders. Which would certainly suck, because the plan is to send in the actual Navy into GL Virginis. My plan is to actually probably send an observation craft through the jump point that has been stabilized on our end to take a look around. If it is clear in the immediate vicinity and we don't just immediately get shot at, we will bring the fleet through, kick on our active sensors, and beat the crap out of these guys. Is the plan. We'll see if it works out that way. But that may be 2 parts from now, I'm thinking. If I'm being completely honest. I don't think we're going to be going in next part. But we'll see. It depends upon how quickly everything develops for the finalization. And the main thing is building. Building the ships is going to be the longest part. Speaking of building, yeah, how about you guys go ahead and add extra slipways, because why not? We got the time. I don't expect to be building the ships before June anyway. So might as well. At least then I can kick out 4 at a time. Again, big question. Do we have the resources for this? Because I'm inclined to say probably not, if we're being completely honest. But we'll see, I guess. I may have to prioritize. But yeah, so I'll see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, my go-to place for posting channel updates is my Discord server. You can find a link to that down below in the description. It's not particularly active, but again, it's mostly just for me to be able to post updates. And if people care enough to join so they can get those updates, then great. But that's realistically the main reason it exists, is so that you all can know that for XYZ reasons, I'm not going to be able to record, or whenever I get around to live streaming again, do a live stream. I'm probably going to be doing live streams again sometime after the new year. I'm supposed to be moving again, but this one should be sort of the final one for a while. I don't know exactly when that'll be happening. Best guess right now is probably January, February sort of time frame, but it's not necessarily set in stone at this time, so we'll see. But yeah, the plan is to have one last move. This one should be the last one for a while. I'll also be able to actually have a, hardwired connection for my internet access on my computer that I use. So that'll be helpful when it comes to particularly multiplayer games, but really just in general streaming as well. Not that I really had any issues in the past, but nonetheless, it's just, the extra stability that a wired connection has over a wireless connection, which is what I use right now. It's not the greatest at times. But yeah, so until next time, glory to the Republic, and I'll see you next time.